What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a fantasy draft if it happened in real life. So the entire league gets reset. Every single player is available. We have a randomized order of all the NFL teams, and we're just going to go back and forth making the pick best suited for the team that we believe. So let's just get started right away.
On the field, he was a top 10, like 10th best quarterback.
I disagree. I think as soon as he hit the playoffs, he looked like a bottom 10 quarterback.
Okay.
That counts.
Okay, you love Justin Herbert.
The 2-minute warning.
McKay, do you want to do the first pick or do you want to do the second pick?
I don't really care. What do you want?
I will do the first pick. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, so first on the clock of the 2025 NFL redraft of a 2-Minute Warning podcast, the Los Angeles Chargers select Joe Burrow with the first pick. I don't know if this is the same player that you would have picked.
It is not.
Really? Really? That's shocking. We've talked about this multiple times over the past few episodes, but we really think that Burrow's game is going to keep evolving with time. It just really fits, getting better as he gets older. We've seen it in the past with greats that play similar to him, and I just think Burrow's already the second best quarterback right now. So you get the second best quarterback now, and then probably the best quarterback in just a few years down the road. So easily the best pick in my opinion, but you didn't have him first, so tell us why.
Well, who's picking second?
The Eagles.
So the Eagles are obviously going to be taking Lamar Jackson.
And that's who your first one was?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just because I know, I had Burrow at number 1 in 2030. That was obviously a little bit of a projection, but also Lamar's peak is right now. And I tried to go away from what I normally do, if I did a Madden draft, always picking the youngest players. It's also people want to win right now, and Lamar's going to help you win for 4 years, and then after that, he's still going to be probably a top 5 quarterback for a couple more years, which is why he still made my top 30. But right now, I think Lamar Jackson is just a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, so I think people would definitely rather have him.
Lamar's my second option, too. I would have taken him second if I went second. Well, obviously, I wouldn't have because he wouldn't have been there, but I think that it's kind of weird because I think Joe Burrow, you were like, oh, yeah, he's the best quarterback in the league right now, and then he'll be a top 5 for years. Joe Burrow's top 2, and then he'll be number 1. It's just reversed, but right now. I
think so, though.
But but Burrow's still going to be competing. You're acting like Lamar is the only option you have to compete right now. Burrow can compete right now, and he's younger, and going to keep getting better.
Lamar is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but I think Burrow gives you a really good second best chance to compete.
Yeah,
and you get to compete for twice as long.
There's definitely a gap there. It's not huge, but it's definitely there, and you want to win right now. So
I agree, but I think you can win right now with both very easily, and I think that you're gonna win. You have a better chance. Your window's open longer if you have Burrow.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
But obviously 1 and 2, and then number 3, the Tennessee Titans select Justin Herbert.
Interesting.
Did you not have him as your 3?
He's a bit more. He's number 5.
Wow, that surprised me. And I really thought you were going to also take into projections here because Herbert, again, a younger guy. Obviously, you don't want to take only young guys into account, but that is a big thing at the same time. Their age does matter. If you're resetting your entire franchise, you don't want to take an older guy, a guy who's going to be in less time. And Herbert, we talked about how he's going to keep getting better and probably be a top 5 quarterback in the league for years and years to come. So how come you didn't put him any higher?
Well, I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks, so I think putting him at 5 is not bad, and he has not shown me anything in the playoffs. Whereas, one player that people are going to be confused why you haven't picked has shown things in the playoffs and has been able to win the games, while Herbert has not won a single playoff game up to this point.
Okay. Well, how about you go with number 4 to the Bengals, and then we'll.
Okay, this is a bit of a projection, but it's Drake May.
Okay, so we're not allowed to make projections unless it's Drake May. Then we're allowed to be obsessed with them.
We can make as many projections as we want.
Okay, but somehow Justin Herbert.
I just didn't make that projection.
And you're talking about playoff success. What the hell?
Yeah, that's why I made. It's not this guy, obviously, who had the playoff success, but we did our top 30 players already in 2030, and I just think his tools are so phenomenal. What he showed in year 1 with no one as a supporting cast, he's definitely proven to me that obviously this is a huge risk, and you could go on to regret it. I just really May. I've liked him. Who's picking at 3 or 4? I mean,
the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah, they're really gonna develop him with that coaching staff.
Yeah, it's not great, but anyway, I just really like Drake May, and my projection obviously was that he'd be the second best player in 2030, only behind Joe Burrow. And as a rookie right now, where his peak is going to be 10 plus years, obviously you're taking a risk, but you're taking a really high reward play here.
Yeah, I just don't understand your thought process because, first you take Lamar over Burrow when the upside's clearly in favor of Burrow, and then you get mad at me for taking Herbert over a guy like Josh Allen, who's clearly who you're implying.
I mean, Herbert wasn't on your list in the top 30 players.
He's my honorable mention. I didn't even consider Allen for it. I don't think
considered May.
Yeah, he was an honorable mention because I think that he could be better. I think that saying Herbert's worse than Allen, though, is crazy to me because that means May's your third, by the way, which is insane. But I think it's crazy to like a guy that hasn't proven it necessarily. Like, yeah, he's shown signs, but he hasn't proven that he's a franchise guy yet. And you took him 3, and you're talking about proving.
I have 4th pick.
Yeah, but you wanted to take him 3.
That doesn't matter.
So that's what's insane to me, anyway. But and then like I don't know, you just like you flipped it completely on its head. You're like I just care about winning right now, and the players the best in the league.
To some extent, it's like taking the shot on Drake May here, in my opinion, is completely worth it.
It makes no sense to me though that you're willing to take a shot on Drake May, who's way less proven than a guy who's Joe Burrow and gonna keep getting better. Like you're not taking a shot on Burrow. You're winning right now, and he's gonna get better.
I was debating between Lamar and Burrow.
I don't know. I just think your logic doesn't make sense. And then like Herbert, obviously a better pick than Allen, who you clearly have lower than Allen.
Yeah.
But Herbert's very.
Allen's peak is going to be really good. He just won the MVP.
Allen's peak is now.
Yeah, I know.
He's not getting better than this.
Yeah, he's going to have like 3 more years of this.
Yeah,
4.
and Herbert.
And he's still going to be a player after that. He's still going to be probably a top 10 quarterback.
You agreed Herbert's probably going to get to a point where he's at.
That was also a little. I know I'm projecting obviously again, but like. I don't know. He's just been so bad in the playoffs. Obviously, I had Herbert at 5.
And he's great right now. And we're still expecting him to get way better. And he's going to play for way longer than Allen. I don't think that makes sense. Obviously, with the 5th pick, the Cowboys are taking Josh Allen here. I just think that he's below Herbert. But I have May a couple more spots down the board. Not because I don't think he's going to be great, but because he's not proven. And so I took the 4 guys that I think are proven first. I mean, this 5th guy, I think, who you're not going to take for sure. But I think he's also pretty much proven. And then the rest of them, I mean, technically, like you see a lot that you love. You see things that you think are, being proven, like you want to project them to be proven. But technically, only having 1 year under their belt, I don't think any of these guys are necessarily proven over the next few picks, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But number 6, the Raiders. Who you got them taking?
The Raiders are going to select Jaden Daniels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Obviously, showed us so much in year 1, ability to keep the ball safe, push the ball downfield. His deep ball is really nice. And, I mean, he's just got so many skills, and he's only 24 years old. Like, people like Bo Nix are, like, so much older at, like, 25.
Half a year older.
Yeah, but he also took his team to the playoffs. This was a team where early in the season I was like, this is the worst team in the NFL. And the whole team obviously got better, but he also was a big part of them playing a lot better than their talent was on paper. And they ended up, they got to the championship game. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I just think that the Raiders, Mark Davis is going to want his guy, Just kidding, I don't know. But I don't know. He's obviously pick 6. A lot of people are going to think that's a steal here.
Yeah, I think that's a consensus pick for sure. He's not my next 2 actually.
Huh.
But
interesting.
Totally, I'm like not totally going against it. For those that don't know, I'm projecting Daniels to take a step back this year. It's going to be one of my biggest predictions, like hottest, I guess, predictions. So if I'm projecting a guy to take a step back in year 2, then how am I going to project him to go above some of the other guys that I think are going to take a step forwards? That doesn't make any sense. So I ended up putting him a little bit lower, but definitely still in my top 10. You're definitely taking him top 10 in the first round. Mm-hmm. So still a great quarterback and super, super young. Number 7 to the Chiefs, we have C.J. Stroud going off the board.
Interesting.
He was my 5th on mine.
Really?
Because I think he is proven from year 1. Obviously took a step back, not completely on his own fault. We've talked about this many times. Mm-hmm. But I think that, he's only going to get better from here. You give him Andy Reid. Holy crap. Is he going to be good? Going to the Chiefs here. Just really good situation for him, obviously. But, I think you're getting a phenomenal quarterback that can just be so good. He's still so young. I think he's only 22 still. So, turns 23 before the season, but I think he's 22 right now, technically. Mm-hmm. And so that's, hella young. That's 2 years younger than Jaden Daniels still.
3 years younger than Bo Nix.
Yeah, so, that's crazy, perspective to put it in. That he's just that much younger, and he's still, proven it his rookie year like these other guys. Obviously, again, had a little bit of a sophomore slump, but not necessarily completely his fault. And I just think, where I see him going in the future is just an amazing quarterback later in his career, especially if he gets to go to Andy Reid. And I don't see how you pass on a quarterback that I think is like very close to a sure thing as a franchise quarterback for his future.
I don't think he's really a sure thing, but I definitely had him. I had him 8th, so like, I'm at 7 and 8. So he's like would have been one of my next 2 picks. So obviously I think it's worth it here, but like I don't know. I feel like you could have went with a lot better of an option to pair up with Andy Reid, a more Mahomey guy, you know.
No, I don't think there's anyone. I mean, the only other option is my next guy. He was very close to him. But hopefully you make the right pick here for number 8 at the Carolina Panthers. One of your favorite
Panthers.
teams.
Maybe I should throw someone else in that
No.
situation. Who's my next pick after them?
No, take the player that you
All
think is
right,
best.
well, I guess Jordan Love's going to go in there and
That's
die.
insane. That's
No,
actually
it's
insane.
not.
That's actually insane.
It is not.
It's insane to actually put Jordan Love in a fantasy draft. Like, it's one thing that obviously I'm biased and I have Knicks above Love right now, but
That's
then
crazy.
Knicks is younger and has been in the league 5 less seasons.
Dude, he
He
played
has.
one more year. Like, I don't know why you're
Okay, so
acting
played
like
one more
this.
year, which is a big difference. But also being in the league for 3 extra seasons and learning
It's
is
not
a
that
big
much.
difference.
It's
Is
not that
a
much.
big difference.
Okay, well,
Once it's 3 seasons, it's a big difference.
Okay, well, Bo Nix stayed in
And
college for
learning
like
from
8
Aaron
seasons.
Rodgers. No, he wasn't. You're terrible at math. But I think that's just insane. Love's not even in my top 10. I didn't even consider
That's
taking him.
wild.
I don't understand
Is he on your board at least?
yeah, like very end of it.
That is so bad.
I just don't understand the hype around Jordan Love. I don't see him taking a
He
step
has
forward next year.
Superstar potential.
No, he doesn't.
His arm is amazing. He can put the ball anywhere.
And he's bad at processing.
He's a fine
He's
processor.
apparently super injury prone because Packers fans claim he was hurt the whole year from an MCL sprain, degree 1. So I don't know how that's possible. And I don't know. I don't love Jordan Love. I think that he super benefits from being under Matt LaFleur. I don't know if he'd even be a top 15 quarterback if he was in any other system outside of Reed and McVay.
So I wish
Or
he took him
O'Connell.
to Reed there. I don't know.
Like if he went to
So-
the Panthers here, this would be a terrible pick because he would just bust.
Interesting.
Even you as a Packers fan agrees he needs to take a step forward this next coming year.
Yeah, and I think he will.
And I just
this
don't
a lot
see-
of this is projection.
I just
like you're gonna
don't
have Michael
see it.
Penix going soon.
Yeah, I will. But I
Yeah,
just
but that is crazy.
no, but I see
you have
so
to
much
understand.
more in Penix than I do in Love. I just don't see anything in Love that's like, oh, he's going to take a step forward this year.
Love has shown flashes of being able to carry this team when before Josh Jacobs got there, we had nothing. We basically had no number 1 receiver. We had no good run game. Like Aaron Jones fumbles every 3 games. He is so inconsistent.
That's not that bad.
That is
every
really
3 games?
bad.
That's not-
He fumbles in the worst times. I swear he had like at least 4 playoff fumbles.
No, you want to talk about fumbles? Talk about Melvin Gordon, bro. I had to sit through Melvin Gordon for a whole season.
Okay,
He fumbled once per game, not once every 3.
Well, that's not that bad.
My point is like when I see these other guys like Knicks, like Penix, which we'll talk about, obviously, I just when I watch Love, I don't see anything that's like, oh, this guy's going to break out. These other guys, I'm confident are going to break out. Like I'm willing to put my neck on the line and say I think these guys are going to break out. With Love, it's like the only reason that you would ever think he's going to break out is because you want him to.
What?
There's nothing to show he's going to take a step forward. This is
He's
just
shown so much
kind of how he
flashes
is.
of like back half of both seasons. He was elite at keeping the ball safe, and especially the first season, he was so good at pushing the ball downfield while keeping the ball safe.
The only time that he's good at keeping the ball safe is when he's not throwing it deep, and the only time he's good at
He was
throwing it
throwing
deep
it
is when he's not keeping the ball safe.
He throws it deep more when he's playing in his like late half the season where he's like throwing it downfield less. He's still throwing it downfield more than most quarterbacks.
I think you're in for a rude awakening, but I predicted you predicted the same thing last year. Like Jordan Love's gonna take a huge step forward.
Yeah, then
he's
he
gonna
got
be
hurt.
great, and then he got a tiny MCL sprain, and then he came back, was completely healthy, and he looked worse than he did the year
He
before.
pulled his groin right when he came back.
Okay, and then after that he got healthy, and then
Yeah,
he
and
looked,
then he was fine.
He looked worse than the year before, even if it wasn't by much. He looked worse than the year before.
That's what Bo Nix is going to
that's
do
not
this year,
too-
and I'm not going to mention it because if he looks slightly worse than the year before,
Then he'll
that's
still be a
good.
top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, same with Jordan Love.
No, Jordan Love took a step backwards though when he needed to take one forward. He needed to take one forward.
Everybody needs to take one forward.
And then as soon as he didn't take one forward, you were like, oh well, let's make 4 excuses for him. Obviously,
4?
obviously the games that he was healthy and looked a little bit worse, those don't matter. But the games he was hurt, let's look at those. And then next season he's going to take a big step forward, just like I predicted this year. Like you're just going to keep predicting it. Like I guarantee you, if he doesn't have a step forward this year, you're going to be like, well, he's going to take one next year, because he showed flashes before because he's got a good arm. That's like saying Zach Wilson's going to, break out because he's got a good arm. That's not how it works.
Bruh.
You need more than that. It's just not how it works. But let's move on. We talked about Jordan Love a lot.
Okay.
Number 9 is the Arizona Cardinals. I have them selecting Bo Nix, the pick that the Panthers should have selected. Bo Nix, what can I say about Bo Nix? He's my glorious king. I love him so much. And he's just a phenomenal quarterback. Just in year one, was able to deal with not having good weapons whatsoever, 0 run game at all, and just some really iffy play calling a lot of the season. But even though he started really rough in the beginning of the year, he really bounced back and was able to make one of the best rookie statistical seasons that we've ever seen. And just even on the field, like just so phenomenal if you go watch the film. I'm really excited to see what he can do improving towards the future. Obviously, he's a little bit older than you want a guy in his second year to be. We're not shying away from that fact. But, if his team keeps improving, he's going to keep improving. I'm really excited to see where he goes and where this team goes, or I guess now the Cardinals go, because he just really is showing all the signs that you want in a future quarterback, and he's able to put it together so early and win games for the team. And there's been moments already in his rookie season where he put the team on his back and drug us to wins that we really needed, because if we had one less win at the end of the season, we wouldn't have made the playoffs. So he's already played in a playoff game, got that playoff experience. This is a guy that you want leading your team for the future, and I'm really excited for the Cardinals to get him.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's like one of the guys you want, but like I think right here he's obviously the best option.
You don't think he's one of the guys you want?
Look, you're like glowing about him. He's not like a guy, he's my quarterback. I'm so happy.
I would be.
I'm not.
First year he looked great.
Yeah,
he was borderline top 10 his first season. That's great. That's who you want.
Did you have Jaden Daniels below him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jaden Daniels was, according to most people, top 5.
Yeah, and I think he's going to take a step back. Why would I put someone I think is going to take a step back behind or over someone I think is going to go forward? That makes no sense.
You think?
And I think Dix is like the exact same right now. So why would I project Daniels to be better? That makes no sense.
Also, I think like saying the best rookie season we've ever seen.
I didn't say that. I said one of them.
I think that is like an argument we can't really say anymore. Just because Baker, Herbert, Stroud, Nix. Baker had a really good rookie year.
Nowhere near. I said statistically.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close. Knicks beat him in every single stat.
That's just not true.
It literally is. You want to look it up right now? We can pause the podcast. We can cut this if we need to. I'm telling you, literally every stat. He had more touchdowns, more yards, probably less picks, probably better completion percentage, more rushing yards, more rushing touchdowns, definitely more receiving touchdowns.
Very important.
But obviously you take Herbert and probably Daniels.
How many touchdowns did Knicks throw?
Like 26.
Okay. Baker had more touchdowns.
What do you have?
How many yards did he? 27.
Bruh.
How many yards did Knicks
I don't have the yards.
Okay, well, anyway, 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks in 14 games.
Okay, so he had more picks, way less rushing ability, and
he does not have
definitely less total touchdowns. So they're about the exact same, except he turns the ball over more than Knicks.
Okay, well, at the time, that was an all-time rookie season. Then the bar gets raised, and then it gets raised by Stroud, and it gets raised by Daniels, and then Knicks
season is like arguably as good as Stroud statistically.
In 2 years, obviously this year the rookie class is bad, but like next year, I feel confident there's gonna be a rookie with another all-time rookie season.
You're confident that Arch Manning's gonna be that good?
No, not him.
Okay,
it could be him. It could be him. It could be like Lagway, Sellers. There are so many good quarterbacks.
I don't know. I just think to say it's not one of the greatest ever is crazy. Like it's definitely top 5
but
statistically.
Like I just think like saying that now, like I just don't want to say that anymore. Just because we're always getting more evolved. The rookie quarterbacks are more prepared than ever.
So you can say that, and you can say that it's going to get overtaken in like 2 years, like you just said. But right now it is. That is a fact.
It wasn't even the best rookie season this year.
Okay, and I disagree. I think he played better. Not statistically. Obviously, statistically, it wasn't as good, but I think he played better than Daniels.
I think statistically is where he has his best chance against Daniels.
I disagree. I think Daniels' stats are better because Daniels runs out of bounds to stat pad.
Daniels is also able to use his legs, and like no, that's not what I meant to say. He took his team to the playoffs.
Yeah, so did Knicks.
Okay, well, what happened in the playoffs?
We were projected to be a bottom 2 team in the league.
Commanders were projected to be a bottom 3 team.
More people projected us to be worse than the Commanders.
Okay, well then they're dumb because the Commanders their roster was clearly worse.
Yeah, but people didn't think that, and Knicks elevated it.
Okay, but
anyway,
I agreed with the pick. I just think that you try to go a little bit above and beyond. No,
I just think that you really underrate him. I just want the freaking season to start.
Who was pick 10?
Pick 10 is the Houston Texans.
Interesting. Well, the Houston Texans clearly love receivers and do not care about their offensive line.
You are not going to take a
I'm
receiver.
taking Jamar Chase. Obviously,
No,
the
you're
pick
not.
here.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're
Jamar
not.
Chase is like 26.
No, you're not. You're joking.
Of course I'm
Why
not.
would you do this? Why would you do this? Why would you do
They
this?
clearly want receivers.
Like, I understand not taking a quarterback because I like Penix way more.
They fell off. They're no more.
No, obviously you don't want a quarterback. You don't. I do, but you don't. That's completely fine. That's completely fine.
I'm interested to see who you're going to take next pick. Like, it better not be Penix.
There is. Wait, let me.
Because there's no. Did you put Penix above Jamar Chase?
I have 6 non-quarterbacks ahead of Chase.
What?
6.
Chase is clearly the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's 26 years old. He just had, like, what was it, 1,800 yards?
Okay, the best edge in the NFL is 24.
Okay.
Way more valuable and younger.
That's not more valuable. Aiden
Edge,
Hutchinson?
edge,
Are you
edge.
talking about Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Hutchinson just came off an ACL tear.
Okay. We're projecting him to come back though. Like if he were to come back and be fully healthy.
Yeah, but we don't know that, and it's hard to take that risk as a
you have to-
franchise at pick 10.
This is so much positional value. Like wide receiver is not
Wide
positionally
receiver
valued.
Is what by the Texans it seems to be one of their most valuable.
Who cares?
Okay, it's the Texans.
You're doing what you would do, not what the Texans would do.
Okay, well I'm letting them influence my decision. He's also next on my board.
That makes no sense to me because you
Jamar-
did this positional value, right? That's
Yeah.
why the quarterbacks are here.
Receivers is one of the most valuable positions.
Edge and tackle are way more valuable.
Then receiver 1.
Yes, it way more valued by.
Tackle is really overrated just because
No, it's not.
because you want a good offensive line. You don't need a superstar lineman.
If you have a superstar line, it elevates your team so much to where your quarterback can be worse. Just like the Lions, just like the Eagles.
And having a superstar receiver helps out a lot.
Notice
Who's
how
the
most
best-
of the best teams
who
in
is
the league
the
have a
best receiver
superstar
who
line.
doesn't have a quarterback?
Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors. He's what, like the 10th best receiver in the NFL right now?
Oh, but doesn't have a quarterback. I was just saying like the best out of the ones with no quarterback. Wait,
The best receiver that doesn't have a quarterback.
I don't know. I
That's
can't think off the
because
top of my head.
good receivers make good quarterbacks. And Jamar Chase is going to make their quarterback that they're going to take in the second round
Dude,
good.
what I'm telling you is general managers value like edge and tackle.
How much do
way,
edges get paid?
Way,
How much do edges get paid?
way,
Let's look at the money.
way more.
Let's look at the money.
Okay, let's look at where they're drafted. That is where the most capital is spent.
Okay.
And
That's
tackles
because
go number
Jeremiah
1.
Smith would have went number 1 this year.
Depends if he keeps improving. He wouldn't go at his current rate.
I would. I'd take him at 19 for sure. Number 1
You
overall.
just said number 1.
19 years old.
Yeah, I'm taking
that.
the 2 generational players before him. Easily.
He is the generational player.
Yeah,
By the way, you
he's
said
a
he'd be the
freshman.
best player in 2030?
Yeah, I'm not taking him yet because he hasn't played enough in college for me to know that he's going to be that.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, like, Jeremiah
That's
Smith would be my
insane
pick right
to
here,
take a
guys.
receiver that early.
It is just not.
I talked to a different guy when I was preparing this list about what he thinks, and I was like, "What do you think I should take Jamar Chase?" He said, "I'm not taking a receiver in the first round." That's what he said to me. So you are the only person that values receivers this much. He didn't want one in the entire first round. Okay,
Okay, so you're telling me he's dumb.
yeah. Well, I have like 8, but I'm not. I know.
So
I'm
it
saying,
doesn't matter what he thinks.
what I'm saying is that I'm valuing receiver more than most people, and I'm telling
You're
you,
not.
this
You're
is
not.
insane.
Trust me. Like,
I am.
I know you have 8, so that's probably more than most people, but most people will not think this pick is crazy.
It is dumb when Hutch is on the board. That makes no sense.
Okay, so I guess Hutch is your next pick?
No, I'm taking Penix with my next
my
pick.
gosh.
Commanders
You
are taking
take-
Michael Penix.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Commanders fans.
No, Penix is good. You just took Drake May at 3.
3 games he's played.
Yeah. That's the same number you took Drake May, bro. That's actually insane.
Drake May's played like 15 games.
Ooh, much better. He's played
5
15
times
games and
better.
went 4-13.
Oh, wow. We're looking at record.
Yeah, we're looking at everything. He's shown signs. That does not prove he's complete yet.
You took a guy at 1 who missed the playoffs.
Actually, I didn't. I took him at 2.
Well, you were going to take him.
Oh,
at
no,
one.
I did take him at 1.
Yeah, you did take him at 1.
But that's not his fault, bro. Threw 46 touchdowns.
Okay.
Did Drake May throw
had
46
the
touchdowns?
worst supporting
Did
cast
Drake
of all
May throw
time.
46 touchdowns? Did Drake May throw 20 touchdowns? Did Drake May throw 16 touchdowns?
I think so.
Nope.
He threw 15?
He threw 14, I
I
think.
think it was 15.
Oh, much better.
Okay, so we're just looking at stats now.
No, well, apparently I'm not allowed to take Penix, even though he's clearly shown he's more complete right now than Drake May.
Oh my god.
Right this second, he is. Now, I'm not projecting May to be worse than Penix. I have May above Penix on my list, obviously. But Penix right now is a more complete quarterback, and he'll prove that in week 1 of this NFL season.
Okay, so put yourself in the shoes of an NFL team. You're picking at pick 11, and you're like, let's take a quarterback who's played 3 games, and you could have 3 fluke games. Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm not saying it's a fluke, but you could.
I think there's a GM out there that would take Cam Ward in the top 10. I'm not kidding.
And if it is,
and he hasn't played a single game.
If it is, it's the Titans. Anyway.
True, and I think they would.
I don't think so. Anyway, you take that over a sure thing of any position. You take the roll of the dice at quarterback.
I think there's a very good argument to take Hutch. But you know what? I just saw Jamar Chase go off the board. I'm laughing.
Would you rather have Jamar Chase or Michael Penix?
For my future?
It isn't even close.
Penix, I would just start a rebuild. I would start like really small. I wouldn't try to win now.
Penix is almost 26.
He's 25.
He's
just
torn
turned
his
25.
ACL 3 times in college.
Yeah, and he's fine now. See, the injury thing is actually an argument I didn't think about.
Yeah, he gets injured. He got injured all the time in college.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's now 26 years old with 3 games in his career.
That's fair.
And you're picking him at 11 in a fantasy draft.
That's fair, but I think your argument about him not being ready, like for me, as confident I am that he's going to be a great quarterback, I'm okay taking him at 11. The injury thing is fair, and that could lower him down. But with how confident I am, if you're as confident I am, and I'm sure there's a GM out there that's as confident as I am that he's going to be great, the Falcons would not take him at 8 if they weren't this confident in him, because no one was going to take him before 16. So they would not have taken him. If you're as confident as I am, then I think it is a perfectly sensible pick, especially when Jamar Chase went off the board. That makes no sense.
Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree by a lot. Receiver is not as valuable as other positions. Not even close. It's not close.
It's more valuable than a mid quarterback who's like
and I think this guy.
What rank did you have him? Like 15th,
8th.
17th? No, in your quarterback rankings.
18th.
So you want the 18th best quarterback who's played 3 games.
He's 18th after 3 games.
3 times.
He's 18th after 3 games.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah, I want the guy. I want the guy that I think he's going to be top 5 in 3 years.
This is definitely the worst pick of the draft.
I mean, it's definitely not. The worst pick is passing on Aiden Hutchinson for Jamar Chase. That makes no sense.
It does.
So, okay, hopefully you make the right pick here. Number 12 to the Steelers.
Obviously, it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, thank God. It's Hutchinson. There's no G.
Okay, sorry.
I don't get it. I've already talked about Hutch, so I'll let you talk about him.
Obviously, he's phenomenal. He's coming off an ACL tear, so obviously you wouldn't take him in the top 10 or at 11 when the best receiver in the NFL is still on the board. But here it's good value. You are taking a bit of a risk, but he looked like the best pass rusher, the best defender maybe in the NFL when he was playing this year. So
I 100%. That's why you take him when he's 24, by the way.
Coming off an injury.
Yeah, but I'm doing this assuming that he's going to be fine. Obviously, it'd be a little.
No, but if you're a team, you're putting that concern out there. You're not like, I think there is a better chance than not that he comes back normal. You're thinking, do I want to take that risk?
Okay, but I still have 4 guys above Chase that are on my board. So
and I don't wait. 1, 2. Interesting. I'm curious who they are.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So number 13 to the Jets. I have Penei Sewell going right here.
Interesting. That's who I was gonna pick.
I think it makes perfect sense to take him above Chase.
Did he go to the Bengals?
He went what? He went to the Jets.
Bengals, the Jets.
The Bengals is who. It went 4. That was like a long time ago.
I thought you said Bengals for some reason.
But I think the Jets would love to take Tristan Morris. I mean, you take a franchise tackle. I think he's still 24, right? 25 maybe.
You meant Penei Sewell.
That's what I said, right?
You said Tristan Morris.
Oh, I meant Penei Sewell. Just franchise tackle, obviously. He's only 25, right? 24?
Mm-hmm.
Like, super young still. The best tackle in the league. He's the best run blocking tackle in the league, in my opinion. And he's top 2 in pass blocking. That's insane. Just so freaking good. And, getting a superstar lineman like that really does elevate the entire line like no other. And when you're building around a right tackle like that, I mean, you are just building for the future. You give your quarterback an easier time. You give your running back an easier time. You give your wide receivers more time to get open. The whole offense benefits. Scheming's easier. There's just getting players in the trenches that are just unbelievably better, just good and better than everybody else. It's such a huge advantage. I should have gone sooner than this by a couple picks. Definitely should have gone before Chase because this guy is going to be around for probably 10 plus years, and he's going to be a huge building block for your team for those 10 plus years.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would actually take him over.
GMs would 110%.
Chase.
I think
maybe.
I think Sewell would have gone maybe even as high as 8 if GMs took him.
That's crazy.
They love linemen.
Okay, well, this is actually shocking.
Linemen are so important. You just agreed you'd take Sewell, though.
Yeah. No, but I just taking him over Chase seems a bit steep for me.
I
Okay.
don't understand why you would value a guy who's going to play maybe
Who's
4 or 5
picking?
more good years at receiver at a less valuable position. That guy's going to play 10 great years.
He's gonna play 5 great years and then like 2 good years.
That's really generous to say. You think he's going to play 7 more good years?
yeah.
That's crazy. With his play style?
Devontae's still good. He's the
Yeah,
same
that's
age,
completely
and
different
he'll
play style.
be- So
He doesn't run after the catch at all. Chase relies like almost completely on his athleticism.
Chase is a really good route runner.
Yeah, but it's almost completely off his athleticism.
Okay, who's picking next?
The Cleveland Browns are up next. So whoever goes here is doomed.
Well, I know who I'm picking.
No,
I am shocked that
next
you
on your
didn't pick
board.
him.
Next on your
Yeah,
board.
he is next on my board. I thought there was a 0% chance that I'd be taking Surtain because
Wow. He was on my board above Chase, but
Interesting. There's one player I was considering, but especially since it's the Browns, it's gonna be funny. But anyway, it doesn't really matter where he goes. He's a great corner. He'll be an elite corner for 4 or 5 years at least, and then he'll just be a good corner. And obviously, like it's almost like because there's no other elite shutdown corners, he's more valuable.
interesting.
Like you think about the drop off there, it's really bad. And then like I don't know, it's kind of weird to start like what is it? We at pick 12, pick 13,
We're at pick 14.
pick 14. Interesting. It's weird to be at pick 14 and be taking a corner and then just like taking your chances on because corner isn't typically a super valuable position.
Which is dumb. It should be more valued, in my opinion.
Well, like there's just not that many elite corners to value it. And
Yeah.
there's so many good corners.
But if you get an elite corner, it completely transforms your defense. I have 2 more corners on my list.
I think I do too.
But like
they're pretty low.
you said like a steep drop off. I think the only reason it's steep is because how good Surtain is. Again, probably gonna end his career as an all-time corner, and so like
Rose Glaze
the
is
second best
58.
guy is I'll just tell you right now is 18 on my list because that's how high I would be willing to take him because he's that good.
Interesting.
Obviously, he's gonna go lower than that because you have a bunch of random players. But Surtain, I actually would have taken one more player before him, but
Really?
definitely a great pick.
Interesting. I think I know who that. I wonder if that's who I was about to take.
So I go ahead and take him
Yeah.
then. For the New York Giants, they're going to shore up their offensive line as well and take
Oh,
Tristan
interesting.
Wirfs. Another really young player that's just insane. He transforms the whole offensive line. The exact same thing as Penei Sewell, just obviously he's not as good as Sewell. But it's not like a ginormous gap or anything. He's phenomenal. I think he's even better at pass blocking than Sewell. Just obviously worse at run blocking. But again, if you can get a franchise right tackle at 15 that's this good and this young, you don't ever pass on that.
He's a left.
He plays right, I
He
think.
plays left.
Okay, either way,
switch.
franchise tackle is my point. But you don't ever pass on him at 15. No way.
Yeah. Well, he was gonna be my pick in 2 picks.
2 picks. That's what are you doing out here, bro? I'm so confused. Like if GMs were doing this, obviously I'm doing what I would do. But if GMs were here, both these guys are gone before I picked them.
That's because GMs love linemen.
You just don't value offensive
No, I
line.
think that I'd stack up on linemen in rounds 5 through 8, just all linemen.
They are all going to be gone by then. All the elite ones.
You get almost elite ones. Like you could get like
no way.
Elton
No, in
Jenkins
fifth
level
round?
players.
In 5th round, they're gone. 100%.
No way.
100% they're gone.
That's crazy.
Like I don't know why you hate on linemen so much, but they're so unbelievably important. Like
I mean,
they are
I-
so important.
these 2 linemen. I had like 1 or 2 spots after they got taken. So.
Yeah, but that's still like too low, you know?
No.
I felt like I was putting them too low at 11 and 12 on my
Interesting.
board. But now we're going all the way out to pick 16. So I took these players 4 spots later than I wanted to. I took Wirfs 4 spots later than I had him on my board.
Interesting.
But 16, who you got going now?
For who?
For the Chicago Bears.
Well, the Bears are gonna get Malik Neighbors.
Whoa.
I'm curious where you have him, just because.
I have him 1 spot behind Chase.
Okay, interesting. I think he's gonna be an elite receiver
Obviously.
for another 7 years. Like
Minimum. He's
Yeah,
21.
yeah, and you get that here all the way down here. I think that's good value. I had him 12th on my board. I don't know what pick we're at, so I'm like
We're
kind of
pick
confused what's
16.
going on. Great pick here. I don't really know. I thought you'd take him before me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I put him 1 spot behind Chase because I'm fine with you taking either. Like they were one. Like if you took Neighbors before Chase, I don't think that's a bad pick. Like genuinely, because I think he's going to be great for longer. And I think honestly, like this is a crazy statement, but his peak could be better than Chase's peak. Like that's how good Neighbors could be. Obviously, that's like his ceiling, obviously. But like, and he'd had to hit that, but like it's not out of the picture. So I don't think that's insane at all. But I have both of them again behind a couple more players. I have 2 players on my board still. I'd be willing to take over both of them.
Interesting.
But just don't value receiver that much. Obviously, for me, once you got to 16, 17, that's when it's like, okay, receiver's going off the board, because that's when receiver is just so much better than every other position that was more valuable that you start taking them. But would you take Chase 8 or something? That's just crazy.
It was he's 10th on my board.
Yeah,
so maybe it was 9th.
Maybe something like that, but. Yeah, I don't think Malik Neighbors is a bad pick there at all. I just think that this player I'm about to take next, I'm kind of surprised you didn't take him first, because I think it definitely makes sense. I have the Detroit Lions at 17 going with Jalen Carter here.
He was my next pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you had Malik Neighbors over him. This is a position that probably actually is less valuable than wide receiver. But I just think Carter's a one of a kind. He's so good, so young. We haven't seen his anywhere near his full potential. I think he's gonna just be insane for so many more years. So if I got him at this pick, I'd be very happy. Very very happy if I was a GM. He's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, but DTs are way less valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's gonna be absolutely insane in a few years. So
yeah, no, I think that's a totally valid take. Number 18 though, who do you have the Ravens taking?
I had them taking Micah Parsons.
Interesting.
Where do you put him?
I had a few spots down.
Well, he's been elite every year he's been in the league. I think this year it feels like he wasn't talked about, but that's almost just because the Cowboys were really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he had 14 and a half sacks or something. That's still
It was
really
less
good.
than that, but
You sure?
Yeah, because he had less than Benito, who had 13 and a half. So I don't think Benito's that good. Let me put that. I was just telling you that's how I know.
You're not going to take him?
No.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, he's just been good his whole career. Super athletic. He's 25?
Yeah, something like that. He's pretty young.
So, and obviously pass rushers, very valuable. I think we're going to get a couple pass rushers going the next few picks.
That was to the Ravens, so number 19 to the Seahawks. I'm not ready to get mad, but here we go.
At number 19, the Seahawks are going to take Patrick Mahomes.
Why?
Mahomes just is able to get to the Super Bowl. And
he won't have Reed.
He will
not get to the Super Bowl.
McDonald.
The defensive guy. That's a terrible pick.
Know. So obviously, I had him 4th in my quarterback rankings.
Mm-hmm.
I have him way lower. Some people might be wondering why. It's because every year he's gotten worse since his peak. So he could continue to get worse, and that's a risk that at 18 or whatever we at 19.
Yeah, 19.
It's not a bad risk to take, in my opinion. I think he's obviously shown elite play, and you want to get back to that. And he's only 28, so it's not that bad.
He's 29.
29. He's not. He's 28.
He's
28. He turns 29 next month.
I think he's 29 right now.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, 5 years, that'll be I guess we're not predicting 5 years, but basically I think about it, 4 years is what you're trying to think about, mostly. You want to think about the next 4 years unless you're taking a super young player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of weird because, like you said, he gets worse every single year.
Where did you have him on yours?
No, I had him at
Not on your
I would have thought about him at 30, 32.
That's crazy.
But I genuinely believe you're taking an older quarterback, the oldest quarterback I have anywhere near my list. So, you're taking the oldest quarterback.
Stafford on there?
No, and
Interesting.
he's 37.
Yeah, I know.
He has if you're gonna take an older quarterback, he has to be elite. And right now he hasn't been elite recently.
Yeah, but we've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it 3 years ago. And if you want to go back to 3 years ago, his real eliteness was 5 years ago. If you want to go back to that,
It was
that's going to be almost impossible. There's almost no chance he goes back to that. But on top of that, you're taking Reed away, which is his only chance of going back to that. So that makes no sense. He's not getting the Super Bowls. He's not going to be elite again. That's a terrible pick. But obviously most people won't think so. But I think if you took him back out the first round to hope that maybe, and you gave him an offensive mind, but you're giving him a defensive mind, I just think it's a terrible pick for them. I don't think they'd ever even consider him. I mean, I think in real version, he probably would have gone 1 because people are obsessed with him. But
League top 3.
Yeah. But number 20 to the Falcons, I actually have Trent McDuffie going here.
Interesting.
He's the other corner. I don't get why he's so underrated. I think he is the reason the Chiefs defense is so good. Genuinely, if you think about their pass rush game, it's mostly Chris Jones. They have a couple good edge rushers, but nothing special besides Chris Jones, right? Their linebackers, you like Leo Chanel a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not like he's elite, They don't have like elite anywhere in their front seven besides Chris Jones. They don't have elite. They have nowhere even like good, in my opinion, in the secondary. Justin Reed was like okay. Whatever his name, Brian Cook is absolutely garbage, and their other corners are like mid at best.
Shamari Connor.
Now you've
underrated player.
Now you've got Christian Fulton, so that's going to help. But like, if you look for the one really, really, really elite player on that list of players I just named, it's Trent McDuffie. And Trent McDuffie, and that defense, in my opinion, was top 5 last year. If you watched it, it was top 5. So Trent McDuffie, like this is what I mean by having an elite corner. It transformed your defense, what you're able to do. Because when Trent McDuffie played in the slot, their defense was like good. It was maybe top 10, and they weren't nearly as good on defense. They moved to the outside, and bam, automatically top 5, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Just from that one switch, because he's able to lock down every single number one that he plays, and that completely transforms what you can do with your defense. You can send more blitz packages. You can run more man coverage, and that gives you more opportunity to run those blitz packages. You can run, if you want to run zone, you can have him just in man and run everybody else in zone, just completely ignoring their number one receiver. That is a huge advantage, and, obviously I think I'm more prone to loving that because I've watched that for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is.
3 years. 4.
But I've watched having the best corner in the league for 3 straight seasons. So it's so nice to be able to watch that happen. And if you give, obviously this is a different situation, but I think a big reason for that success obviously comes from Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, having that and then being able to scheme with Steve Spagnuolo's mind is just unfair. I think that's one of the biggest reasons they won against the Bills in that AFC Championship game. Josh Allen had Khalil Shakir wide open. You remember that play? To get a first down to win the game, probably. But Steve Spagnuolo put up one of the greatest blitzes I've ever seen schemed up and won that football game and made them go to the Super Bowl. So, obviously, a lot of it will come if, the Denver Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons. Denver Broncos are next. I read the wrong one, but the Atlanta Falcons, if Raheem Morris could, scheme up some plays. But I think this is just such a big advantage, and it'd be hard to pass up on such a lockdown corner.
He was obviously on my list. I don't think that's a terrible shout, but I think he's a third most impactful thing to that defense behind Spags and Chris Jones.
I think he's more impactful than Chris, but
that's crazy.
When Chris got hurt, their defense was still really good.
Yeah, because Treshaun Wharton.
No, because of Trent McDuffie. If Trent McDuffie got hurt, their defense would be really exposable. If Chris Jones goes down, they're still fine.
I don't think it'd be that exposable. They're really good.
You could just target
TDs.
your number one overall.
No, because I don't even know the names of the other corners that were starting on the outside last year. The other corner on the outside.
Yeah, because Trent McDuffie is that good.
No, and I didn't notice him because he wasn't bad. Because
if you don't know his name, he's probably not good.
Well, he's probably fine.
No, he's probably bad. It's probably what it was.
I'm sure.
But anyway, let's move on from Trent McDuffie. 21 to the Denver Broncos. My Denver Broncos. Who you got going here?
Obviously, defense first team. I'm going to get them Will Anderson Jr.
Yes, that was my next pick too.
Interesting.
First one we agree on. Yes.
No way.
I think it's the first one we would have taken crazy. The same player.
He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and he's 23, I think.
Yeah, he's so good.
And the Broncos are really good at making these no-name pass rushers good.
No name? Whoa.
They're still no names, even if they're...
Will Anderson's a no name?
No, but imagine what they can do with a real name.
Yeah, but you were implying
Jonathan
he's really good at making
these good, but if you're a casual fan, they're like, huh?
Yeah, I completely
agree. Same with
Zach
Allen. Same with.
If you don't know who Zach Allen is, you actually don't watch football.
No one knows.
You actually don't watch football.
There's so many people who don't.
He should have been an All-Pro easily, and you agreed with that.
The most well-known player there is Nick Benito, who's probably the worst.
I don't understand how he's the most well-known, bro. It's because he got 2 pick sixes.
He gets flashy stats.
Yeah, I love that pick though. Really love that pick. All right. Next up to the San Francisco 49ers. I actually love this landing spot. Love. This might be my favorite landing spot of the whole draft because I'm taking a rookie here, and I think he's going to get so much development from going to the San Francisco 49ers because we know how good they are with defensive linemen. We're taking Abdul Carter right here to the San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa.
This is obviously the biggest projection I have in this, but I had to take one projection in this. Fantasy draft, someone would probably love to take someone they think is going to be amazing. Back half the first round, super good spot to take a risk on this guy. Guy I think can be the best edge rusher in the league in a few seasons. And getting with the San Francisco 49ers and Robert Saleh, this is a perfect situation for him to thrive and become that best edge rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, it's your first pick. So you're thinking basically he's your biggest building block.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not great.
That's
not great.
If you look at the other players on the board, I think he is what I see in him, I see him being at least like a top 10 edge in the future. Like that's like the floor of his ceiling, if that makes sense. Like the lowest I see his ceiling being.
That doesn't make sense.
The lowest I see his like if his career was good at all, that's the lowest I see him being.
Interesting.
Unless he's a bust, that's the lowest I see him being. So I think that, you know, you have this edge rusher. Like again, edge is so valued, valued, and so taking a guy like that and being able to develop him, if you're confident that he's good, then I think it makes complete sense. When you look at the other players that are just not at necessarily valuable positions, the rest of them that I have on my board.
Interesting. I kind of didn't put any rookies on my list.
He's the only one.
Maybe I should have, the thought should have went into my head to put Abdul Carter on here, but he definitely wouldn't have made my top 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, wouldn't want to take a rookie with my first pick. That just doesn't, and he went third overall, too. Like, if, obviously, you liked him a lot, but, if he was this good of a player, I'm just confused why you weren't, talking him up so much.
I was, but
you
just, you just didn't think I was talking him as much as I was.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
But let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts at 23. Who do you got them taking?
I kind of think the talent's dropped off a lot, especially at valuable positions.
I agree.
I'm going to take Puka Nacua. I don't know how low he's going to be on yours.
I have him only a couple spots lower.
Okay. But he's a great receiver. He's 23 years old. You're going to have a 7-year peak. He does not use his physical abilities very much, so obviously it's going to be even longer of a peak than most receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Great hands, great body control. Just such a good football player. And assuming you're picking at the back end of the first round, I think there's a decent amount of these teams that are going to be taking shots on young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get a receiver to pair up with your young quarterback who's elite at the back half of the first round. I think that's a really good pick.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good pick. Obviously, only a couple spots lower. Once you get in this range, it's everyone can go wherever kind of type thing. But obviously, if that's why we were arguing so much from the beginning. It's because you got to make the top picks count the most. If you're 2 spots off, it's a bad pick. You know what I'm saying? But if you are at 27 and you think the player should have gone at 29, that's not a terrible pick.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's okay to reach if that's the player you want the most, even if you think, oh, they're a 29 ranked. So obviously that's why this is going to be a lot more calm than the beginning. But I don't think it's a bad pick at all. He's so unbelievably good, so young. Honestly, a lot of the time, he's talked about, but there's a lot of times I feel like he's underrated by some people. I think he's a top 5 receiver in the league right now. I think he's really, really freaking good.
I'm surprised he wasn't higher for you then.
Yeah, I love watching. I'm telling you, I just don't think receiver is that valuable. I have mostly positions I value more, but a lot of them obviously you haven't been taking. So I've been going he's where's Puka on your board? What number?
20.
Oh, really? Puka's 25 for mine. So I'm about to take the 22nd player on my board. So I guess I'm a little bit further behind, but yeah, that's the only reason I would have taken him really soon. But at number 24 to the Bills, I waited as long as I could just because of value. But I really think this is just such an insane player on the offensive line, so it still makes it valuable. I'm going Creed Humphrey here.
Interesting.
He is so good. He's so good. Obviously, center is not as valuable as anywhere near as valuable as tackle. Nowhere near. But it's still the center of your offensive line. No pun intended. But I think he's so unbelievably good. He is the anchor of the offensive line. He can just make everyone around him better. And I think, you'll be guaranteed to have a great interior with him. So I just don't when you said the talent's dropped off. I think the talent with him is not dropped off. It's just the positional value that you're looking at. But I think that when you get to this spot, it's when he's this talented, no matter what the position is, you just got to take him. Besides running back, but you just got to take him right here.
Yeah, I just don't really think. I think centers, by you especially, super overrated.
I don't think I rate centers that highly.
You just love Creed then because
yeah, I do because he's
you
by
said
far.
Something. Luke Wattenberg is topping some of these center lists.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Jurgens comes in and into a good scheme and just looks amazing right out the gate. Josh Myers is one of the worst linemen I've ever seen start for a team, basically. And he was not exposed to enough level for him to get benched. You do not need a good center.
But I think that's the difference between Creed and any other center league. I don't think it's close for second place. I think there's probably close to 5 tiers in between Creed and second place. Because I think every center league is so close, and then there's Creed. He's so unbelievable. Crazy. And he He basically is what you could value as a guard because he just will make your guards better.
I just
like,
don't value guards either.
Yeah, but usually guards, like, you need an interior to run the ball, obviously. Usually the guards make the center, like, hidden, and you don't really need as good of a center because you've got guards that you worry about. But Creed's the other way around where he just makes your guards unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think Creed is probably a big reason that Trey Smith's the right one, right? The right Smith. I think he's the reason that Trey Smith is so good. It's because Creed Humphrey's standing right next to him. But next up, we've got the New Orleans Saints. Who you got going to the New Orleans Saints?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay, yeah, I had him I had him one spot behind Puka.
Interesting. He's like, he was the best rookie receiver last season, and obviously it was really close between him and Neighbors, and I think Neighbors has more potential just because Brian Thomas is more of a deep threat guy. But I think there is a lot of, I have so many pass catchers, especially receivers, at the back end of this thing, just because you're going to get around the bend, pick soon again, so you can take the quarterback, because I think there'll be a decent amount of quarterbacks. Like Caleb Williams, we're not doing the second round. So assuming they just take over, they're probably taking Caleb, Cam Ward, I don't know, other quarterbacks are probably going to be taken right at the bend. And you can just pair him up with Brian Thomas Jr. It's obviously a great pick here, in my opinion. I thought you'd take him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Definitely would have taken him soon. But like I said, like, receiver isn't as valuable. Now they're okay to be taken, as we've said multiple times. And like you said, you got so many getting taken right here because, you're getting around the bend soon. And I completely 110% agree. And that's why I was so shocked when Chase went so high, because I felt like I was respecting him by putting him so much higher than these other receivers.
I don't think so.
Like, I had Chase and Neighbors way higher than any other receiver. And then I had a bunch of receivers grouped together just like you at the end of the first round.
Will you take one receiver this draft?
What? I don't know. You looks like you're taking them all before me. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy that you had Chase at 10 when you have no other receiver. You have everybody else at the end of the first round. But
that's because a lot of them are more of a projection, and Chase is already that guy.
Yeah, but like, people would take Jefferson that high with Chase. People think Jefferson's just as good as Chase.
You best take Jefferson.
No, but I think that, yeah, I mean, this is the perfect spot for receivers in my opinion, especially ones that aren't Chase and Neighbors. Obviously, those are the top two that you take in the fantasy draft. But I think that that's not a bad pick by any means. Like you said, it's just, the only problem is he's kind of just a deep threat, but like, he's like so much more than that at the same time. So hopefully he can really tap in to what makes him special. So number 26, we have the Green Bay Packers, McKay's Green Bay Packers. I am going to try to do you right here.
Oh, no.
No, I am. I'm trying to help you guys out here. My next pick is one of your favorite players in the league. We got Sexy Dexy.
Interesting. Wow, I did not think you'd have him this side.
Did you have him in your first
He's
round?
on my list.
Okay, cool.
He's the end.
I think he's so good. So good. If it weren't for Jalen Carter, he would have gone higher, I think. But I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, once the top DT goes, like, it's okay to let him drop a little bit, take other players. I think he's just not as on the same level of Carter in a few years. Like, I think Carter has way more potential, if that makes sense. And I think they're close enough right now to where I would take Carter. Obviously, we both take Carter way higher, but he's still really good. When he was healthy, he was leading the league in sacks from the interior on a bad Giants defense. Obviously, they have more pieces than you would think it was needed for the D-line. Like, they should be good in most people's brains, but Brian Burns and Thibodeau are just not performing at the level you wanted them to. But he's making up for it. He's just doing everything, and he's also like an elite run stuffer, along with being just arguably the best pass rushing DT in the NFL. So when you have that combination, it's just unfair. You shore up the trench. Again, when you get trenches, it is a good pick. When you get an elite trench player like this, like, now your run defense is going to be so much better right off the jump. Your pass rush is going to be better from the interior. It's going to help your edge rushers when you take them. You could probably take them a little bit later now. I think there's a lot of routes you can go when you take Sexy Dexy at this pick.
Yeah, I probably should have had him a bit higher now looking back. But I definitely wouldn't have been one of my next picks. He probably would have been a few down the board. I'm happy with it as a Packers fan. Love Sexy Dexy. Our defense would be really good.
Yeah, no, it'd be
a lot better than it is in real life. So who am I picking for now?
Okay, then number 27, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, I'm going to get them Brock Bowers. I don't know if he was on your list.
He's not, but it's mainly because he's a tight end.
Yeah, but like, he's going to be, in my opinion, a top 3 to 5 tight end of all time. That is not crazy after the year he just had.
After his rookie season, that is insane.
That is
to
not
say.
crazy.
That is insane to say after his rookie year.
Okay, maybe it is, but I just really like Brock Bowers. Loved him coming out of college.
I'm not allowed to say
And-
Surtain's a top 10 all-time corner at the end of his career, but he's
You
allowed
can
to
say
say
that.
Brock. You get so mad every time I say
Yeah,
it.
because
But then,
I just get mad, but like.
but then Brock
saying
Bowers
top
is allowed
three
to
would
be
be
say
crazy.
top
No, but
3.
there's not.
That's insane. That's
No,
insane.
you got
It'd be
Kelsey.
crazy if he's top 5. Like he has
No.
to surpass some goats, bro.
Not really.
He has to pass either Kelsey, Kittle, and
think he'd pass
Gonzalez, Sharp, or Gates.
He could pass Kittle, Sharp, or Gaines.
That's crazy. I mean, he could obviously. He
Yeah,
could
I
pass
think he
any
could.
of those guys, but that's crazy to project after one season.
Yeah,
Like
I
insane.
see what you mean.
At least I waited 5 seasons to say he is probably going to enter
Yeah, but there's
all-time
a long
conversations.
3-corner start. You know, three corners are playing
Yeah.
for each team. Tight ends wise, right now there's 3 elite tight ends.
Yeah, but that's because tight ends
Yeah, 3
aren't
elite
valuable
tight
at
ends.
all. No one cares about. Like you want a good tight end, you don't need an elite one.
I think you want an elite one.
Well,
And
obviously you'd want an elite at any position, but like you don't need one, is what I said.
I don't know. I think he's an incredibly valuable player, and they can now get a young quarterback who can rely on their tight
I
end.
don't know. First round pick is crazy.
I actually don't think it's crazy.
I think it's pretty crazy. If you had Trey McBride on here, I'd actually lose my mind. So hopefully you don't have him on
Yeah, I
here.
don't have him on here, obviously.
Completely.
Considering Brock Bowers made my top 10 players in 2030, and McBride was at like 30.
Yeah, that's true. Well, my next pick is for the Los Angeles Rams. Pretty far down here now. Obviously, last 5 picks. I'm going to give them Derek Stingley Jr.
Okay.
Another really good corner. I think they're the 3 best corners in the league. These
Yeah, they're the
3.
only 3 I wrote down.
Really? I thought you liked Jalen Johnson a lot.
Yeah, he's like 26, plays for the Bears.
I'd put him 4th in the league. I think he's
I
right.
think he's probably second, but it's really close.
I think
All-
he's
all
right
3 of those
behind
are
these
in the
3
tier 2.
guys. But like again, Stingley's so good. He really improved because his rookie season he was like okay, like he wasn't really anything
was not that
special,
good.
not special at all. And then all of a sudden he just broke out and was like immediately just such a big impact. Obviously that makes sense because corner's one of the hardest positions to adjust to in the NFL. But just really came out of nowhere. And then, got even better this last season. I think he's going to take another step forward this season. I'm excited to see if he can. Another really young guy, which is just kind of crazy that like the 3 best corners in my opinion, and then if you want to say 4 with Jalen Johnson, are all 26 and lower, which is kind of
That's
wild.
because corners fall off. Because
Yeah,
you
but
need
like
speed so
corners in
bad.
their prime are like 27, 28. It's like their best year usually. And so like if you want to take the top 3 in my opinion, 25, 23 and 23 I think are their ages. Like that's really cool, kind of crazy. Like we're in good hands for the corners of the future, I think, because they're going to be in their prime when the next batch of good corners comes in. So but just kind of crazy. Like I think that if you're the Rams, you get Derek Stingley.
Derek.
You get Derek Stingley at 28. You're not mad at all. You're making your secondary from day one a great secondary. So really excited I would be really excited if I were the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
But 29, we have the Minnesota Vikings, one of your favorite teams.
I mean,
So who are you gonna have them taking?
I wonder if this guy's even on your list. I'm going to make them take Justin Jefferson.
He's on
I'm
the
sure
list, yeah.
every single Vikings fan is going to be very happy, but also kind of disappointed. They watched the whole video and they got one player already on their team. But
But they love Jefferson, so I mean,
Yeah,
getting him at
he's
29, you think Vikings fans would be mad about that? I don't think
I don't
so.
know. It's like I watched the whole video and it's like the Packers got Jordan Love at 28. Obviously, it's crazy value. And then it's like, in my opinion, I'm going at like 7 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah, I know, but
So I think that'd be great value, but I'd be like, it'd be so cool to see us get someone else.
yeah, but I think Vikings fans would argue to take him in the top 5. I genuinely believe that.
No.
Vikings fans are obsessed
No,
with
but
him.
they take him top 10, 100%.
Yeah, so like getting him at 29, they'd lose their minds.
He's like 25.
They are going to be mad. They're going to comment about how mad they are that he went 29.
I did you guys a favor. They can't get mad at me.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good, but I had another receiver above him. Believe it or
Really?
not.
Oh, actually,
But I mean, it's
don't
one
know.
I would have above him.
really? Oh, wait, never mind.
And he's my next pick. So at number 30 for the New England Patriots, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Is he not like a Patriots receiver? If only he was white.
Yeah, if he was white, he'd be perfect Patriots receiver. But he's another guy that, like, kind of similar to what you were saying with Brock Bowers, where your young quarterback can develop with him. He's like a quarterback's best friend. He's never going to drop the ball. He doesn't run like crazy routes or anything. Like he's the safety blanket of any offense. So I think he's perfect to just slot in near the back half of the first round, like you said, or like very end of the first round. And like you said, you can just draft a really young quarterback coming up in the next round. I think this is the guy that you'd want to take to pair with him.
Yeah, I think he was my next receiver. He's two. I would have taken him in 2 picks. So
Okay.
obviously a good pick there. He's only 25. When I think about him, I do not feel like he's 25.
Right. He feels like he's like 28 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But who's picking next?
Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 31.
They're gonna get Kyle Hamilton. Was he on your list?
I was thinking about him, but I figured you put him on.
Really? Yeah, I think he'll be one of the best safeties. Definitely of like the 2000s. Only behind.
Interesting.
I think he might be just only behind Ray Lewis or whatever.
That's Ed Reed. Ray
Ed
Lewis
Reed.
plays middle linebacker.
I get them mixed up so bad.
Ray
That's
Lewis
so
plays middle
embarrassing.
linebacker.
That is so embarrassing. I do that every time.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
And I always say Ray Lewis is a safety, and I always think he's a linebacker as well. Well, anyway. Oh, and Bobby Wagner. He'll be like in that conversation.
Bobby Wagner's a middle linebacker.
Dude, I was thinking about that because of the other thing.
Bobby Wagner still plays for the Commander.
I'm trying to think.
He's still really good.
Yeah, I know. It was because I was thinking about whatever his face is. What's another all-time safety like that was played recently? Can't even think like Polamalu. No,
Troy Polamalu.
I'm getting so embarrassed.
Yeah. How about we just move on to talk about Kyle Hamilton?
Well, I think he'll be better than him. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't watch him play, so you don't really get to say
Yeah, I
that.
do.
But
See the highlights.
okay.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Hamilton.
How young is he? 24.
23.
Oh wow, he's really
Yeah.
young.
Very young.
He's so
6'4".
good. Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a great pick.
Yeah.
I
very
just
happy I
figured
was
you'd
the one
take
that got
him.
taken.
There's a couple players I just left off because I was like, McKay's gonna take him before I am, so I just didn't put him on. But yeah, now we're at the last pick of the draft or the first round. I mean, the Miami Dolphins. This I think you're probably gonna disagree with me with this one. He is 28 years old, so he'll be 33 in 5 years.
Not on my list then.
Oh
wait, never mind.
But I'm going to take Jordan Mailata here.
Whoa. I
Because
did not have him on my list.
Because I think that, like I said, tackle's so valuable, and if you get him in the 32nd pick, that's kind of a
That's not
steal.
bad,
That's
actually.
actually
No.
kind of a steal. Especially if he really continues to play. Let's say he plays as long as Trent Williams. Obviously, it's a freaking long time, but like if he plays that long, you have a great tackle for so long. And then you get the flip pick, so you get your tackle, and then you can take a young quarterback first pick in the next round. Maybe you take a older quarterback that you think is really good, like Baker Mayfield, at the first pick in the next round. I was honestly considering putting Baker on here over Jordan Mailata. So I think you could take Jordan Mailata and Baker, and then you pair them up, and that's cool. Or you take a weapon for your quarterback, or whatever it is. But you get back-to-back picks, and I think taking a franchise right tackle or left tackle, for who knows how long, tackles play for forever. So you take a franchise left tackle, one of the most valued positions in the NFL right now. It's a great pick for 32.
Yeah, I completely agree. I should have put him on there. But also, he's not going to play at his level to Lane Johnson just because he is maybe the most athletic tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But I still think he plays like at an elite level to like 34, 35. Mm-hmm. Tackles just always do. But
Want to shout out everybody.
yeah, is there anybody
on our
want
list?
to add?
So my next pick would have been Lad McConkey,
Yeah, great pick.
and then CeeDee Lamb,
CD.
Jared Verse, and the last one that wasn't picked was Bryce Young.
No way.
Yeah, I think he's a great around the bend quarterback.
Ew. Okay, well the ones that was your 32nd quarterback. Ew. Okay, well the ones I was thinking about were Verse, Lad McConkey, and then I'm blanking on whoever the other guy was. Oh, and Baker, like I said.
I just don't think a team would be like using one of their first
He-
picks.
he's only like
There
28,
is
I think.
franchise cornerstone still on the board, like Jared Verse. Like I'd rather have Jared Verse on my team and then just try to find a new quarterback.
That's fine, but like I think that like after you get rid of Verse and McConkey, maybe that's where he goes.
I just didn't think.
I think he probably goes in the first round in a real one.
I don't think so.
Because he's only 28 and you get a top 10 quarterback, like people would take that.
A lot of people don't have him in the top 10.
Really? I don't think that's true.
I don't know. It's like, and if he is, he's like 10th. So like, I don't know.
I don't know, but anyway, my point is those are the guys that I would have considered over Mailata. But is there anybody else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that is our first round of a fantasy draft if it happened in real life. Let us know, who you would have taken one, who you would have taken last. Let us know just the worst picks of a draft from each of us, and we appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.